and this lady is introducing me to the other lady, and she says, "This is the one that plays rugby." And this lady says, "What is rugby?" I mean, that's where we've won the World Cup 2019, we've won the World Cup 2007, 1995. But there are still people in South Africa that don't know what rugby is.
Good day, guys. Welcome to today's episode. Today we've got Lizo here, former teammate of myself. So yeah, Lizo, welcome to the episode. It's nice to have you on here. So if you could maybe just introduce yourself to the guys that might not know you and just kind of where you're currently playing rugby.
Fantastic, man. Ronaldo, thank you so much, brother, for having me in this episode. And just want to say well done and congratulations on the courage you have pushing your own businesses. I mean, since you're playing days, and I thought that was very wise, and a lot of us other youngsters can learn a lot from you. And yeah, just well done on that courage, and congratulations. So basically, my name is Lizo Gqoboka. I am a Christian. I am a soul winner for the kingdom of Jesus Christ, and I'm a disciple maker. And I do play rugby, a couple of businesses that I'm involved in, growing in that area as well. And I think one of the most beautiful things about my life is my family. My wife, Lizo Gqoboka, been married 7 years. So grateful to God. I have 3 boys, Inalo, Iana, and Inati, whose birthday is today. So turning 2. So grateful. Thank you. Grateful to God. Yeah, I come from Mount Frey in the Eastern Cape. It's in the rural areas. I grew up there, and but I played for the Bulls for 8 years. But before that, actually, EP Kings for 5 years. Then 2015, I moved to the Bulls. I played there. That's where we played together. And now I'm at the Stormers in Cape Town.
Yeah, great, man. And I mean, you just touched on it quickly. You come from the Eastern Cape, obviously, and that's also one of the things that we like to discuss about the rugby journeys and how guys got there. I think today's conversation, I want to focus a bit more kind of outside of the rugby. You also obviously getting a bit older and going to the end of your career. But if you can give us a quick overview of just your journey. I mean, was it an easy journey for you to get into professional rugby? Did you have to fight very hard to get into a position to obviously get to the Bulls? What was your journey like to become a professional rugby player?
Yeah, I always believe when God places you at a certain place where you are born, you are there as a potential solution in your society, in your family, of breaking new grounds and achieve things that have never been achieved. Growing up in the rural areas, I didn't have a privilege of dreaming to play rugby because we didn't have rugby. I played rugby till I was 18 years. I played, soccer till I was 18 years. So rugby was never a thing. I mean, there's still no rugby where I come from, even at this day, besides the stuff that I do with through my foundation, the Gqoboka Foundation. So I grew up, just to paint a picture, I went to school, primary school, under a tree. We didn't have a structure. We didn't have a building, for classes. We only had one room that was not big where the teachers would go, then the classes go to different trees outside. And if it's raining, we don't go to school. And, the older kids would go to other villages that had the structures and the schools. So they would walk. My sister walked over 10 kilometers to school, and back every day. Yeah. So at the age of 14, I was working loading trucks with sand for 10 rands a load. And back in the days, they didn't have the tipper trucks, so you would load the trucks with sand and offload them, for 10 rands. And by matric, I was working at a funeral parlor, Notemba Funeral Parlor in Dabankulu. It's still there till this day. I always go say hi every time I go home.
Well, that's why you're so strong.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's crazy. If I can tell you a story, one day on a Saturday, I'm wearing a suit, and I'm just opening. In our culture, you open the casket for the close family members to come see their loved ones for the last time. And I'm busy opening that. Then I saw my teacher standing up. She was also a close relative, and she was so shocked to see me, and I was shocked to see her as well, because on a Friday, a day before, I was in her class, and now I'm working in a funeral parlor on a Saturday. Yeah, so basically from there I went to Durban to study. That's where I did business management and graduated in 2011. And then I started playing rugby for a local club called Queensborough Club. Then I went to Collegians because my friends said I must go there. They said it's a better club, we must all go there, so we went. Yeah, then I went to the EP Kings. It's a long story, but that's how I went to the EP Kings. Is I was playing club rugby, and there's a
Yeah.
guy I was playing for the Sharks. I think they were called Verda Beast, if I'm pronouncing it right, back then. And his name was Charles Ndaweni, and he played for Mpangeni. So at the Sharks, if you are not involved on the weekend, you would be released to play club, you know. So I played against him, against Mpangeni, and he was a captain there. And after the game, he said, "Hey, Lizo, you're so talented, bro. Who are you? Where you come from?" And I tell him, and he said, "How about you look at Border Bulldogs, XWD, EP Kings, those team in the first division? Because these big unions, they want someone who is almost ready. I mean, for you, it's just raw talent." You know, because he
Yeah.
could see that I don't have understanding of rugby. I'm still learning. So that's when now I started making calls to the EP Kings and phoning them, asking them to if I could come for a trial, you know. And they said, no, you can't just call and say you want to come for a trial. It doesn't work like that, you know. But I just kept on calling. They said, send us videos of yourself playing. I said, no, I don't have any video. I'm playing club rugby. They said, which school did you go to? I said, I went to Ndabankulu High School. They said, where is that? So it was not working out. But
Mm.
after 3 weeks of calling them almost every day, 4 times a week or 3 times a week, they said, no, you're just too persistent.
Yeah.
Just come. So that's the favor of God. So that's how everything started.
Okay.
Then I played there 5 years, moved to the Bulls 2015.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's an unbelievable story, and I mean, I think that's what make it special for me, obviously, to talk to you today, because I know your journey was a bit different, and I mean, every time we have these conversations with all of the guys that's currently playing or that's the end of their careers, each guy has got their own individual story of how they obviously got there, and I think some of the guys that we've spoken to, it seems that the Eastern Province is a very, very untapped market, I think, for raw talent. I mean, what do you think we can do differently to look after those guys or get more talent? I know with Octafield, we are obviously working on a new platform that we're going to obviously scout younger players and going to go across South Africa and test players and get some sort of database going where we can identify some raw talent, especially in the Eastern Cape, because I feel there's a lot of talent there. So what do you think we can do differently as obviously ex-players or current players, or even if you look at the whole of South African rugby, what can we do to kind of uplift the rugby and the communities in the Eastern Cape?
Yeah, I think we have a massive role to play. You know, I always believe that there's no way God placed us here only for ourselves and our, immediate family, 2 kids, and that's it. You know, there's a bigger purpose. You know, and that's the legacy I wanna leave. It's in people, changing people's lives. And that's why I started a foundation and giving someone an opportunity, believing in someone, because, I mean, someone gave me an opportunity, someone believed in me.
Yeah.
And that's why I could achieve the things that I have achieved. You know, I'm not a man-made man. I'm not a self-made man, so I stand on the shoulders of people that prayed for me, that supported me. So I think really the more people like Octafield now that are intentional about go finding the talent, give opportunity, be patient, understand that these people don't even dream about becoming a Springbok or playing for the Stormers because they don't know, maybe some of them, what it is. I mean, it's crazy. When I went home 2020 during COVID for a funeral, and this lady is introducing me to the other lady, and she says, this is the one that plays rugby. And this lady says, what is rugby? I mean, that's where we've won the World Cup 2019, we've won the World Cup 2007, 1995. But there are still people in South Africa that don't know what rugby is. You know, we only got electricity in 2019 in Dabankulu, and that's here in South Africa. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So there is talent. There's no way it's only Lizo that is talented in the rural areas, but we have a responsibility to go out there and find them, give opportunity, and I'm doing that through the Gqoboka Foundation. I mean, I have 2 graduates already in the foundation, so it's not only about sports, that's important, but also education for me is
Yeah.
massive. So yeah, also got soccer guys that are studying in the School of Excellence in Joburg that we gave opportunity from the rural areas. They're talented in soccer, then we gave them opportunity.
Mm.
So I think, yeah, talent is vast there. We just need to be intentional and go find it and help
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think what you mentioned earlier, I think my last 4 or 5 years that I obviously went through was tough on everything that was in my life. And I think God also put it on my kind of plate now to go and leave a legacy and make changes in South Africa, because I think there's such a big opportunity and I don't think there's enough that's being done to get all of these things in place. And that's why I think what we've built with Octafield and what we are building is going to be an absolute game changer in South African sport, and giving all of the kids in South Africa the opportunity to become a Springbok or to become a professional rugby player. It doesn't matter in which school you are, where you came from, if you have parents, if you don't have parents, if you have support, if you don't have support. I want to create a community where people can come together and they can feel united. And even after rugby, I think for me, I didn't have anything after I stopped playing rugby, and I had to gone through all of my stuff that I've gone through. And I think we as a bunch of guys that played together, I mean, we shared the field, we shared days together, we shared weeks, months, years together. And then after you stop playing rugby, you don't really connect so much. I think that's kind of what we're trying to achieve with Octafield, and obviously trying to build that and just leaving a legacy behind that can be a sustainable thing. I think it's always good to be a legacy. I mean, if you look at what Evans obviously achieved and Sia and those guys, they definitely left a massive legacy. But I think guys like us who maybe didn't get it to that point or reach some of those goals, I think we can also contribute towards what those guys are all doing at the moment in South Africa.
No, that's fantastic, man. That's why what Octafold is doing is fantastic, because I think one of the biggest things is exposure, and these guys need exposure. Even if, what I've done as well in the past is just take these kids and bring them to these big towns just for a week or 3 days or whatever it is. They must see the stadium. They must see how a gym looks like. I mean, I didn't have gym back home. Every time I'm on holiday, I couldn't gym,
Yeah.
So that just opens up your mind. It enlightens you, That's why when I took this one boy, Ambessa, that's in Joburg, I was like, I hope he makes it in soccer, but even if he doesn't make it in soccer, but the fact that he's in a big city, there's other
Yeah.
opportunities. His mind is enlightened. He knows stuff. I mean, the first time I had a pizza and or a burger, people laugh at me, is when I was in varsity. I didn't even know those things existed. So what Octafold is planning to do is massive, bruh, and I really encourage you to do it because it's fantastic and a lot of people need it.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. And then obviously, let's move on. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your career. I mean, you obviously played at the Bulls for a long time, and then you made a move to the Stormers, which I found odd at the time. So, what was the reasoning for you to move down to the Stormers?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bulls is an amazing club, and I was so privileged to play there for 8 years. Massive honor, great people, great supporters, But I really felt it was time for change for my family and I. I wasn't playing as much. I was getting a lot of injuries as well. So yeah, we really prayed about it, and we had peace about coming down to Cape Town because they were also interested. So that's how we made the move, and we have so much peace about it. We are loving it. They back me. It's just been unfortunate with the injuries. It's really been tough. I've had like back-to-back injuries. It's over
Yeah,
a year now. I haven't played, but I won't be despondent. I won't be without hope. We're just talking with my wife, and what we said is we must never forget what the Lord has done for us. When our character is being shaped and molded, and our faith is getting tested. Let's remember that, I mean, working at a funeral parlor at 17 years, loading trucks with sand, God has put us far beyond what we've dreamt of or imagined or even prayed for.
yeah,
So I didn't have that privilege. So now I mustn't, because I'm tested for 2 3 years through injuries and other stuff, now become
yeah,
despondent and not see any goodness in life or goodness about God. So we're just so intentional about gratitude. I'm still thankful that out of millions of men in South Africa, I'm part of the 50 players or 55 players, senior
yeah,
players that are contributed. It's a massive honor and a privilege. So I think that's where my eyes are fixed and where the posture or condition of my heart is gratitude.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, just on that as well, you've obviously been involved with the Springboks for a number of games and a couple of years. So, I mean, what was your experience like that first time when you got the call up to represent South Africa to go and play for the Springboks and put on the green and gold jersey?
Yeah, amazing. It's difficult to put it into words, the feeling, but let me take you back. When I was playing for the EP Kings, I think I was 22, and I said, I'm going to become a Springbok. I'm going to become a Springbok. And some of the guys were like, hey, this guy is dreaming, man. I mean, one of the guys told me, I think about a few years ago, that they used to laugh at me behind my back because it didn't make sense what I was saying, because I was not even starting at the EP Kings. I was not even playing because Yaku Engels was there. A lot of senior players was there, and here I am playing. EP Kings didn't have Super Rugby when I said that, but I had that dream and I chased it. It didn't happen 2012, 2013, it didn't happen. I think I made my debut 6, 7 years or 8 years later, in 2019, but, I always worked hard towards it. And I remember a friend of mine, Marlon Ngogo, who played for Springbok Sevens, gave me a Springboks, I can't remember if it was a T-shirt or pants. And I said to him, "Yo, appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much, but I will earn it." So I didn't take it, and that was my belief. That was 2012. That's how much conviction I had about achieving and becoming a Springbok. Got my first call 2014, Coach Henneke, and it was nice to be with the guys, these legends, won World Cup and British and Irish Lions. It was beautiful, nice environment. Then always been there, but it was really difficult. I won't lie, because I attended over, I think, 14 camps from 2014. I only made my debut 2019, and every year I'm in the squad, but I'm not getting picked.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but then Coach Rassi took over, and it gave me an opportunity, and I'm forever grateful, really. And it's so beautiful to see what we're achieving as a Springboks and South Africa.
Yeah. And I mean, to obviously stay or to become a Springbok is a challenge on its own. And obviously, staying there and getting picked every week, in and out every year, is obviously even more difficult. So, and I think those are obviously the times that shape you as a person, as a man, as a husband, or it builds up resilience, it makes you a better character. So, I mean, how did you deal with not getting picked, being in the side? I know you obviously have big Christian faith, and that's obviously one of the biggest things that probably pulled you through that. But how do you cope with that disappointment every time? Because there's a lot of people that might listen to this that are pursuing a career in rugby, or they want to become a professional rugby player. Everyone wants to become a Springbok that obviously plays rugby. So what did you do in that times to cope and just to kind of keep focused and keep your eyes on the prize that you have set for yourself?
Yeah, thank you. I think one thing is doing the word of God, do the word of God. I mean, there's a verse that I was just reading now in James chapter 1 verse 2, and says, count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you go through, these various trials. It's not one trial, it's various, it's many different trials that we go through, but when you know and you read the word, you know that you expect it, because it's promised that you are going, no one is immune to it, no one is exempt, so you get, what I did is I've always been fortunate enough to anchor myself in the word of God and have an intimate relationship with God, where, when things don't go my way, or where things go my way, I am not moved, in character, because rugby is what we do, but not who we are.
Yeah.
And many a times we work at what we do, but we never work in who we are, in our character. So, and I think doing the word of God, and secondly, the support around me, the people around me, my parents, my wife, my boys, my surroundings. There's a verse in the Bible that says, bad company corrupts good character. So I think we need to be very intentional about the people that are around us. So what are they speaking in good times? What are they speaking? What are they saying in bad times? Because that can take you really down a bad path. I mean, maybe to drugs or steroids, because you want to go back there, or you want to be there, you want to make it, or you can
Yeah.
abuse alcohol and stuff like that. So I've been fortunate enough to have prayerful people around me, solid people, that can say no to me and I listen, and so I'm grateful for that.
Okay, and I mean, if you could give advice to the younger kids, what's the best advice that you would give to someone that's trying to make a career out of rugby?
Yeah, I'd say dream big. They say success leave clues. I would say there are things that can give you a chance to make it, which is discipline, how hard you work, being teachable. And, I think that's one of the things that my parents taught me is be teachable, be hungry for knowledge, and I went for that. I was always asking questions. I always wanted to be better. I'm the one that always went to the coaches and, hey, what can I do better here? What do you think of my defense and attack? So you need to be hungry. You need to don't want to be spoon fed. Go there. You're the one that wants to become something. So go get it. Go want the information, get mentors, train hard and get the advice, But another thing is prayer, because when you know what plans God has for you, then you are aligned with His plans. You are aligned with His purpose for your life. But if we don't know God and don't have a relationship, then how can we know His plan if we don't have a relationship? Then we miss the mark. So I always say, work hard, be disciplined, sacrifice, be teachable, but it's a lot of things, character as well, because you can be talented, but people can't work with you. You're arrogant, your pride, everything is about you. I mean, you can get there, but you won't even last a year or 2 years. So that's why I'm always develop yourself as well in
Yeah.
rugby and outside of rugby. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I actually saw something last night actually on one of these, when I was scrolling on social media. I saw a speech that Rassie made. I don't know when it was because I saw John Luke and them were still in the room. So I think it was quite a long time ago. And he kind of went through the different phases of you obviously becoming a Springbok. And then you get that feelings of success. And then obviously you get that self-entitlement type of feeling. And then
Attachment,
obviously
yeah.
how you deal with that self-entitlement. And then obviously we all are human, and it always is nice to feel that way. And I mean, I can remember I played for Namibia, which is obviously not the Springboks, but for me as well, like I also felt that bit of entitlement at some stages in my career. And if I look back, I think I could have done a lot of things differently, and I could have maybe made more changes in people's lives. But I mean, I think we learn from that takings, and that makes us stronger. And then later in our careers or lives, we can do stuff like this and have these conversations, and hopefully kids and people can learn from the mistakes that we've made in our careers. And then just lastly, for you in the season, I mean, where are you with your injury, and how long are you currently still contracted with, Thomas? And do you have what's next? What are you going to do after you finish playing rugby? Is this your last season? Do you continue want to play? What's the plans?
I tore my Achilles in the Currie Cup, so that's a long one, 9 months or more. So I'm expected to be back in April, or if it takes 9 months, if it takes a year, then season is done. But I'm still contracted here for another 2 years. Yeah, so I'm still gonna come back and play. But I am doing other things on the side. I've been doing them for years anyway. Property, a bit of farming, other businesses on the side. So that's why I always encourage people to develop yourself, do other things as well. I mean, not even if you're not making money at the moment, but
Yeah.
you are learning, picking up some skills. So you're equipping yourself for later, and I do full-time ministry at 3C, yeah. So earlier this year I was a youth pastor, and now we're really pushing ministry, and I know the calling upon my life. I mean, university, I started, me and a friend of mine, we started a student Christian organization where we ran like proper church, every Wednesday, sharing the word and people getting saved. And
Yeah.
that's still going to be priority, but obviously other businesses as well going forward.
No, great. I mean, I'm not even going to ask you what legacy you want to leave behind, because I think just listening to obviously what you've been saying, I think you are already on the right path, and I think people can obviously clearly hear the legacy that you want to leave behind after you stop playing. So yeah, I mean, Lizo, thanks for joining us today. We try to keep the episodes as short as possible, not to make people bored. So I
Yeah,
think we always try to
understandable.
get the most important out of the conversation. So thanks for joining us today, and it was good talking to you. And I hope your injury heals quickly and that you'll be back on the field quite soon. And then, yeah, you never know, it might be wearing the green and gold again for another couple of games before you obviously go on to your next path.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for having me. And I'm really sorry about your injury, but I know God is in control. And I mean, it was such a massive honor to play with you. Great human being, hard worker. I mean, one of the hardest players to play the game. I mean, the way you would sprint out, like cringing to contact, that just shows your heart. How brave you are. And I mean, it didn't end, it's not going to end on the rugby field. You are brave, you're starting things. I mean, you just told us Octafold, the plans you have, amazing. And that bravery, that courage that you always have is going to carry you for the rest of your life. And God is with you, man. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks a lot. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Cheers, my brother.